Welcome to Daily Stoic Practice. Today we're diving into a new lesson from Stoicism, the power of silence, 10 traits of quiet people, inspired by Stoic philosophy. Imagine you're in a crowded room. Voices are rising from every corner. Everyone wants to express their opinion. But then, you notice something strange. In one corner of the room, there's someone sitting silently, not saying a word. Their gaze is calm, yet they seem to be seeing through everything around them. Why are they choosing silence while everyone else is scrambling to be heard? In this noisy and chaotic world, is silence a sign of weakness? Or is it a hidden strength that only a few can grasp? Here's a little-known secret. Quiet people aren't those who have nothing to say. They are listening. Listening to understand better, observing more carefully, and acting more effectively. They understand that speaking more doesn't always mean knowing more. Sometimes, silence is the best way to hold power and maintain control. It's a subtle strategy that Stoic philosophers from thousands of years ago had mastered. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It is a state of mind, a tool for training the mind in building inner strength. Today, we'll embark on an exciting journey, exploring the 10 key characteristics of quiet people, seen through the lens of Stoic philosophy. Are you ready to discover the silent power that can change the way you see the world and yourself? Number 1. Silence confuses opponents. In negotiations or debates, silence can be a sharp weapon. When you remain silent, you're not just saying nothing, you're creating a gap, a challenging silence. The other party will feel this silence. It's like an invisible echo, reflecting tension and pressure back at them. And at this moment, the opponent starts to feel confused, losing their usual confidence. They may start talking more, trying to fill the gap you've created. Imagine being in a heated debate. Everything is tense. Both sides want to win, and no one wants to back down. You feel swept into a whirlwind of words, arguments, and sharp reasoning. And then suddenly, one of the participants stops, saying nothing more. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they choose silence. This moment of silence stretches on, and you begin to feel uncomfortable. Why are they silent? What are they thinking? What are they preparing for? This is what often happens when someone goes silent in a debate. The opponent usually feels uneasy with that silence. It's not a sign of weakness, but a tactic. It's like a trap, invisible but very effective. As the silence continues, the opponent feels compelled to speak, to fill this gap, to feel more comfortable. And in these moments, they start to say more, reveal more. They unintentionally expose their weaknesses, their worries, and sometimes even their real strategy. To clarify the power of silence in negotiation, let's imagine a real-life scenario, a tense negotiation between two large corporations. Both sides are in a difficult position, deciding on a multi-million-dollar deal. Everyone is sitting around the negotiation table, the atmosphere heavy and tense. Each person carefully considers every word, every gesture, knowing that a single mistake could lead to great loss. Team A, with a subtle strategy, decides to use silence as a tool. After making a strong proposal, they stop talking, not saying another word. No further explanation, just pure silence. Team B, unaccustomed to such prolonged silence, begins to feel uneasy. They glance at each other, worried. They have no idea what Team A is thinking, what they're planning. The psychological pressure builds. Some members of Team B start talking more, trying to break the uncomfortable silence. They talk about their concerns, the real issues they care about, and even begin revealing information they hadn't intended to. Team A, still silent, is mentally collecting every valuable piece of information that Team B is inadvertently revealing. They now understand more about Team B's position, their fears, and the things Team B is most anxious about. After a long silence, Team A finally speaks again, but this time they hold the upper hand with all the information they've gathered to turn this situation in their favor. Silence is a powerful tool to confuse your opponent, but it also helps us avoid unnecessary distractions in life. What happens when we use silence to remove distractions and focus on what truly matters? Number 2, silence removes distractions. Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to get things done efficiently as if they're never distracted by what's going on around them? The answer might lie in something very simple. They know how to focus on what matters most. Quiet people aren't easily distracted by the noise around them. They've learned to master their thoughts, and silence is the key to blocking out unnecessary noise, allowing them to focus all their energy and intellect on achieving their goals. In modern life, we're constantly bombarded by distractions. Phones ring with endless notifications, emails flood in, and social media is always vying for our attention. Even when we're not distracted by technology, the environment around us, casual conversations, stray thoughts, can still disrupt our focus. All of this creates a continuous noise that makes it difficult to concentrate on what's truly important. Think about the times you felt overwhelmed by all these distractions. They make you feel stressed, exhausted, and often prevent you from completing your tasks efficiently. But now imagine turning off your phone, closing the door, sitting down, and dedicating a quiet moment to focus on one single task. How do you feel? Suddenly, everything becomes clearer, your mind sharpens, and the work gets done much faster. This is the power of silence in eliminating distractions. To better understand the power of silence in removing distractions, let's look at the life of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus wasn't just a great Roman emperor, but also a famous Stoic philosopher. As the head of a vast empire, Marcus faced endless distractions from all directions, from the demands of the court, political intrigues, to external threats. Every day he had to deal with hundreds of important tasks, each decision potentially affecting millions of lives. But what allowed Marcus Aurelius to maintain clarity in his most important decisions? It was silence and focus. Every day he would spend time in silence, reflecting. He knew that to make the right decisions, he needed to eliminate all distractions and focus on what truly mattered. Every morning before starting his day, Marcus would sit alone in his room, close the door, and silently reflect on the tasks of the day. He filtered out all unnecessary thoughts, concentrating only on what needed to be done. Thanks to this habit, he remained calm and wise in all situations. Now that you've seen how silence helps remove distractions, let's explore how silence can draw attention and create a powerful presence. Number 3, silence draws attention. Have you ever walked into a crowded room and noticed someone who, without saying a word, seems to attract all eyes? That's someone who knows how to use silence as a powerful weapon. Silence can create a special kind of allure. When you speak less, every word you say carries more weight. People pay more attention because they know you don't speak just for the sake of speaking. This commands respect and attention from those around you. In a room full of people talking, who do you think stands out the most? You might assume it's the loudest person, the one trying to dominate the conversation. But often it's the opposite. In a noisy room, the silent person is the one who stands out. Their silence creates an aura of mystery. They don't need to try to attract attention. Their silence does that for them. Think back to the image of Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, during his product launches. Jobs wasn't just famous for his groundbreaking products, but also for how he communicated with his audience. During his presentations, Jobs often used silence skillfully. When he paused, remaining silent for a few seconds before unveiling a new feature, the entire room would hold its breath in anticipation. This silence created great expectation from the audience. They knew that whenever Jobs paused, something important was about to be revealed. Number 4. Silence builds strength. You've probably heard the saying, speech is silver, but silence is golden. But why is silence compared to gold? Quiet people understand that in silence, we cultivate endurance, patience, and the inner strength to face any difficulty. Silence is not just an external state, but a profound method for controlling and strengthening our spirit. In life, true strength doesn't come from noise or how much we talk. True strength comes from our ability to restrain and control ourselves. You can see this in the people we respect the most, those who maintain calm and self-control, even in the most challenging situations. Stoics teach us that silence is a powerful tool for building inner strength. They don't believe in expressing emotions impulsively or saying everything that comes to mind without thought. Instead, they choose to remain silent and reflect. This is a way for them to cultivate restraint and keep their minds in a state of readiness, not distracted by temporary emotions. When you remain silent, you not only control what you say, but also control your mind, thoughts, and emotions. You aren't swept away by fleeting feelings or meaningless words. Instead, you maintain calmness and clarity. Let's look at a real-life story to better see the strength of silence. The story of a marathon runner before a big race. Can you imagine the pressure he's under? All eyes are on him. The audience waits, his opponents observe, and coaches continuously offer last-minute advice. The tension is palpable. But amidst all this noise, he stands silently, not saying a word. He closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, focusing on his breath. He doesn't voice his thoughts, doesn't express worry or tension. His mind is entirely focused on the race ahead. You might wonder, why is he silent? Why doesn't he express his determination with strong words? Because he knows that true strength doesn't lie in those words. True strength lies in control and focus. As he remains silent, he's not only preparing his body but also his mind. He's building inner strength, getting ready to overcome every fatigue and obstacle on the race course. And when the whistle blows, he no longer feels fear or worry. He's ready with a mind fully focused and a strong spirit. Silence not only helps you build inner strength, but also helps you avoid the temptations of arrogance and self-importance. Let's explore how silence keeps you humble and free from vanity. Number 5. Freedom from arrogance and vanity. Quiet people don't easily get caught up in arrogance or vanity. They don't need to prove themselves through words. Instead, they choose to listen, learn, and reflect on themselves in an honest and humble way. Arrogance and vanity often come from the need to assert oneself by speaking a lot, showing off to others. But in Stoicism, silence is a way to keep the ego in check. When we remain silent, we can listen and learn more from others, rather than constantly trying to stand out. Silence is a sign of humility and wisdom. Stoics understand that to become wiser and more knowledgeable, we must learn how to be silent, because only when we are silent can we truly listen and learn from others. Silence is not only a sign of humility, but also a way to control our ego, keeping it from growing too large. It's how we continue to learn and grow. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "When you are silent, you learn more." He constantly reminded his students of the value of silence and humility. In one teaching session, he silently listened to his students debate without intervening. When he finally spoke, he offered deep insights that left everyone silent, reflecting on what they had just learned. We've seen how silence frees us from arrogance and vanity, but in negotiations, silence is an even more powerful tool. Let's explore how to use silence in critical negotiations. Number 6. Silence in negotiations. In negotiations, silence can be a highly effective tactic. It allows you to listen to your opponent, assess the situation, and choose the right moment to respond. Negotiation is an art, and silence is one of its most important skills. When you remain silent, you don't just give your opponent time to think, but you also create space for observation and evaluation. Silence is also a way to project confidence and control. A Stoic knows that sometimes silence is the best response. When you remain silent, your opponent may feel pressured to speak more, revealing information they didn't intend to share. This allows you to gather information and better understand their position, from which you can then devise appropriate strategies. Silence also gives you time to reassess your position, listen to all sides before making a decision. In a critical business negotiation, an experienced negotiator used silence skillfully. When the other party made a proposal, he simply remained silent, maintaining eye contact without saying anything. The prolonged silence made the other party feel pressured, and they started talking more, revealing weaknesses in their position. Finally, the negotiator seized the opportunity to turn the situation in his favor. Negotiation is an art, and silence helps you steer the situation. But silence is also a way for us to show kindness and care for others. Let's explore how this works in the next section. Number 7, kindness and care for others. Quiet people tend to focus more on actions than words. They believe that kindness doesn't need to be expressed through words, but should be demonstrated through real actions. Silence allows them to focus on listening and understanding others, which enables them to act with genuine kindness. In a world where words are cheap, actions are gold. Stoics know that kindness and care don't always need to be expressed through words. Sometimes simply being silent and listening shows your care and respect for others. Silence gives us the space to think about how to help others in a sincere and effective way. Once, Marcus Aurelius remained silent during an entire meeting, listening to all the opinions of his generals and advisors. He didn't say a word until everyone had finished speaking. When he finally spoke, instead of criticizing or making immediate decisions, he simply asked one question: how can we help the people who are suffering out there? That silence and question made all the generals and advisors reflect on their true responsibilities. Kindness doesn't always need to be expressed in words, but through actions. Silence can also help us listen more deeply. Let's explore how silence creates deep listening and understanding. Number 8, deep listening. Listening isn't just about hearing with your ears, but with your heart. Quiet people know how to listen deeply, to understand and empathize with others. They listen not just to respond, but to truly understand what others are trying to convey. Deep listening is an art not everyone masters. To truly listen, we need to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, feel what they're going through, and think what they're thinking. Stoics believe that listening is a way to learn and grow. When you listen, you not only understand more about others, but also learn more about yourself. Deep listening also requires total presence. When you sit and listen to someone, it's not just about silence in speech, but also silence in your mind. Not being distracted by your own thoughts, not feeling the urge to reply immediately, but truly listening from the heart. When you do this, you create a deeper connection with the person in front of you, understanding their emotions and needs. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, often advised his students, don't just listen with your ears, listen with your heart. Once, a student came to him, talking endlessly about their troubles. Epictetus remained silent, not interrupting. When the student finished, he simply smiled and said, "Now, listen to your heart and find the answer within." That statement made the student reflect and find the right path forward. Deep listening is a way to build genuine relationships and understanding. But to make wise decisions, we also need another skill: critical thinking. Let's explore this in the next section. Number 9, critical thinking. Quiet people aren't quick to jump to conclusions. They take time to reflect and analyze information before offering their opinion. They understand that critical thinking is an essential skill for making wise decisions. Critical thinking is the ability to evaluate information objectively and logically. In life, we're often swept up by emotions and subjective thoughts. Stoics know that to make the right decision, we must quietly reflect and consider every aspect of the problem. Silence helps us avoid impulsive reactions and make smarter choices. When you reflect quietly, you have the time to reconsider the information you've gathered, cross-check it with reality, and analyze it thoroughly. This not only helps you make better decisions, but also trains your ability to control your emotions and thoughts. A person with critical thinking skills isn't swayed by emotions. They know how to assess every problem from multiple angles before acting. During a philosophical debate, one of Epictetus' students silently listened to all the opinions before offering his argument. When he spoke, his words were logical and convincing because he had taken the time to think deeply. Epictetus smiled and said, "That's the way of the wise, not to speak much, but to speak correctly." Critical thinking helps you assess and process information effectively. But in life, we sometimes need not just wisdom, but also resilience to overcome challenges. Let's learn about resilience in adversity in the next section. Number 10, resilience in adversity. Quiet people know how to maintain calmness and resilience in the face of adversity. They don't let impulsive words or actions make them lose control. Silence helps them face challenges with greater calm and strength. Life is never short of challenges and adversities. Stoics understand that true strength doesn't lie in avoiding difficulties, but in facing them with calmness and resilience. Silence helps us avoid impulsive reactions, instead giving us time to think carefully about how to handle the situation. It helps us maintain resilience and not be shaken by the challenges ahead. In tough times, silence can become a source of inner strength. When we pause, not reacting quickly, we give ourselves time to adjust our emotions and focus on solutions rather than problems. Stoics always maintain calm and silence when facing adversity because they know that losing calmness only makes the problem worse. There's a story about a Roman soldier in a brutal battle. Though gravely injured, he remained silent, not crying out, not complaining, just focusing on protecting his comrades and completing his mission. That silence was a symbol of his inner strength and resilience in overcoming pain. Thanks to that spirit, he became a symbol of courage and determination. Through all these lessons from silence, we've clearly seen its hidden power. But more importantly, silence is not just a skill, it's a way for us to achieve peace, wisdom, and true happiness. Let's summarize what we've learned in the conclusion. Silence is not a sign of weakness, but a manifestation of inner strength. By learning to listen, reflect, and choose our words carefully, we can achieve true peace, wisdom, and happiness. Let Stoic philosophy guide you on your journey of self-discovery and understanding of the world around you. Remember, the journey of personal growth never ends. Each step you take towards mastering these Stoic principles will bring you closer to a fulfilling and meaningful life. If you found this video helpful, share it with your friends and don't forget to leave a comment on how you use silence in your life. Thank you for listening.